What's going on? Well, it's your boy at Big Game James _36 at Big Games BS, part of Dead Media Group, presented by thehumidor.com. Go to thehumidor.com for all things cigar related. Your cutters, torches, tobaccos, anything that you need. Basically, you go there, you type in sports den for 50% off. Jesus Christ. Don't do that expecting that. For 20% off at checkout. Make sure you go check that out. It's a lot of things to really touch on, to talk about, but today's show is going to be short because I got a huge media blitz the next couple of days. And I don't know, Miles, you got time to go tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I can make it happen.
All right. And we try to go tomorrow before I get on the road. And then on Friday, we won't have a show. Monday, probably won't have one either because I'll still be in Tallahassee for my third annual book bag giveaway and football camp. Right now, I'm trying to work on some cool things for that football camp. The best thing about that is we got 371 registered for the food and book bag and 61 campers. I want to tell you something I got tentatively planned. Like, there was no fan day for FSU this year. I'm saying you might want to sign your kid up for the camp and get there a little early, or make sure you're there and registered by 9, because everybody who's registered, they're the only ones who, if I'm gonna try to get through a little autograph session with some players, if we can get that going. So that's basically all the news I guess I can really just really give without that. I didn't mean to do that, without really messing stuff up too much. The real things that I really want to harp on today are it's basically a long ass hate o'clock, which is brought to you by Green Acres Sporting Goods. Green Acres Sporting Goods is the go-to outdoor place for all your outdoor needs. Guns, I love the crossbows. I love the Taurus 9mm. I love the Kenic. They got pump shotguns. They've got they've still got ARs. They got whatever you basically need or want. It's about to be bow hunting season. Actually, I think the whole month of August is bow hunting season. So you really want to go make sure you get a chance to get that out there. That's got to be exhilarating, but that's some real man stuff right there. You got to make sure you hit that deer the right way, and then you got to go track it. I'm going to try to get some of that. But my hate o'clock comes from, not trusting people that are kind of coming out, like whistleblowers. And before that, actually, I'll get to that part. And I'm going to tell you what we talked about. And I always said that there was some truth in all of this. But now it's come to light. But if I put $1 down and I won $434 million, I would not be upset. I'd be cool with that. If I put $1 down and I won $1.26 billion, I would be really, really excited about life. I would like the prospects. That's a phenomenal day. I've never had a day where I made that much money. Now, if I had a day and I thought I was getting 1.26 billion and I ended up getting 434 million, while I would be grateful, I'd be a little pissed off. And the person who won the $1.26 billion, one single ticket won it. It was a brother. So I know a lot of people going to be coming out of the woodworks being like, remember me? I'm that girl that used to date you. When you get a little bit of money, all the women that, or let me rephrase, not even a little bit of money, when you get a little bit of status, I used to like you in high school text kind of come through. I don't know if any of you ever had to deal with that, but like, I'm not a good person to deal with that. I'm nice to everybody. One person I had to tell them, I was like, yo, they're a little bit too mean. One girl, I think her name was, I felt bad for what I did to Sejal, though. I still remember it because I did it on purpose. I was balling too at Florida State, and she came up, and I remember Priscilla. Priscilla was dope. Priscilla was always nice to me. Sejal never gave me the time of day. Man, and I did something that was so green to her. I was just like, oh, I don't know. Oh, what's your name? Oh, okay. Yeah, because you never really talked to me in high school. Then I walked off. That was fucked up. I apologize. Shouldn't have done that. But I would do that if I was a billionaire. My man, but the government who has a hard time taxing millionaires. Like as you hear Elon Musk, a lot of these guys don't pay personal taxes. Business tax is different. They don't pay the personal taxes, or they defer it, or they get all kinds of write-offs. They get all kinds of other different things. Or I might have got that confused. But bottom line is, if we taxed everybody appropriately, things would be good. I find it funny that they immediately take this guy's bread, and I have something. I find a problem with that. Take all money consistently, or don't, because this is over 50%. That's way over 50%. But that's what that guy. We got, but man, people are still upset about the ACC, and we're gonna be dealing with the ACC until we're not dealing with the ACC anymore. But the biggest news that's happened in the last couple of days are on the NFL side. Yesterday, two things were released, or I believe maybe it was after a show on Monday. But you have the Deshaun Watson stuff. So Deshaun Watson is getting 6. Well, let me rephrase that. We don't know what's going to happen with Roger Goodell, but the recommendation was that Deshaun Watson gets 6 games from a female judge that said the case. And there's a lot of different things that she said in this statement or in her judgment that can ring true. It's civil. It's not an admission of guilt. None of this stuff. I always tell people that it's two different ways to go about stuff. Guilt is not civil court. You don't need as much evidence to be considered guilty or considered liable. But the lady basically said this man's got a problem. I'm gonna summarize this for you. Deshaun, anybody who gets about that many, lets that many people touch them, has an issue, that has problems. She admitted that. She talked about this. She said it was unprecedented. But what the judgment was based upon nonviolent, which I guess, your prediction or what you believe sexual assault is a little bit different than others, but like the nonviolent nature of this, the NFL has consistently given people 6 games. And
nonviolent assault is what she said.
Nonviolent assault, yes, because again,
it's hard to understand.
But it's like, so her thing is that Deshaun, she believes, and this is the judges on the civil side. This is not criminal. There's 2 different ways to go about this. Again, I'm not here to argue right or wrong. If we want to say he's weird as Halloween on a Friday with a full moon, I'm 100% with you. Like, but the judge basically stated that he went in with the intentions to show his tallywhacker and with the hopes that something was going to go down. And with that being said, now Deshaun can no longer get random massages anymore. You can't go on Instagram, can't get in them DMs. Any woman now who's massaging Deshaun has to massage him for their pleasure. You're not massaging him as a licensed therapist. He can only get his rub and tugs from Cleveland Browns approved massage therapist, which is why I made my joke yesterday. I got a 2-hour massage from a massage therapist approved by the Cleveland Browns. And that, the NFL, he should be prosecuted. He should have more. But here's the thing is, again, they didn't use every woman's testimony. So all the accusers weren't used in this. They used a little bit of the New York Times article, but there was really no factual evidence to back that up. Because again, my man, in the New York Times article, it was alleged that he whipped it out and cocked it back and let it blow on somebody. And I'm sorry if I have unwanted human waste on me, somebody's got to die.
Yeah.
Like, or you're going to jail at least. And I mean, I'm not finna just, because you can sue and still pursue criminal charges. Like, people got to realize you can do multiple things in this American justice system.
That's the confusing part.
And it's very confusing because the thing is that this man is a menace to society. But in all of this, is a lot of people have been making their rounds and making there's oh my God, he's only getting this, he's only getting that. There's not enough money being taken away, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, man. That's the way they structured the contracts and structured the deals. They knew this shit was happening. It's called being smart. Um, you know, a lot of people have had different things to say, a lot of stuff, but it's funny with the owners, man. People make the put. It's always been like this. So when they have the contract negotiations, right? When they have the CBA deals come up, they always paint it as millionaires versus the billionaires. Well, now it's getting a little bit closer to that because the money's gotten up, but like one, without really understanding what the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. It's like very far. It's not that hard off for you to become a millionaire. The person listening to me, but it's probably not gonna. You'll probably never be a billionaire. And I know a lot of times people don't want to have these arguments and these things when people are struggling to pay bills, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that I should not get paid what I feel my equal wages. It doesn't mean I'm going to get paid. It just means I'm going to fight for as much money as I can. That's called the country we live in is a capitalist country. So that's the only way to be a capitalist is to participate in the capitalistic methods. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but that should be a term. Capitalistic methods. So I say that to say is that we hold people closer to us and more accountable than we hold people that will never be like, who really do get off on everything. Billionaires can buy silence. I don't think you can become, just like I don't think you can become a general without having some interesting things in your closet. I don't think you can become a billionaire without having some interesting things in your closet. You had to short somebody. Somebody got screwed in the process of you becoming a billionaire, unless you win the lottery. But even then, they won't let you be a legit billionaire. They're gonna take most of your money. So, with that being said, the crux of this conversation is going to go into how billionaires and that millionaires versus billionaire mindset really almost destroyed a man's career and his reputation. And what we did was what people always say that men do to women is the victim blaming. So when the former coach Brian Flores for the Miami Dolphins insinuated that there was some shady dealings going on in the NFL. If we all remember, basically the biggest thing in all of this, and again, I think when it's all said and done, Bear Bryant is the biggest proponent for civil rights that doesn't get his propers. I think we'll go back and we'll look at if there's an influx of black coaches. We'll go back and we'll say Bill Belichick is the reason why we have a more integrated league on the coaches and admin side, front office side. And why do you say that, James? Bill Belichick, the most button-up, most deliberate coach probably in NFL history, does not make mistakes. You think he don't got like so? But he two Brians, Brian Dabble, Brian Flores, white Brian, black Brian. We all have this in our phones, whether you want to admit it or not. It's called descriptors. It's not racism. It's like literally describing who this person is, even if you don't put the full name in. There's very few gems or just single names unless I know anybody else in my phone. Miles is the only Miles in my phone, so I don't have to put. But if there's another Miles I meet, I'm going to put Miles H or Black Miles or something to describe this person so that I can remember them. Miles does not have to ever worry about getting a text message that was not meant for him. And I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick in a congratulatory text is not sending the text to the wrong Brian, especially knowing the consequences and the penalties behind all that. But he did that. Flores got mad. Flores comes up and says that, hey, man, I went and did this interview as a sham. And then he starts talking about other transgressions of why he got fired. My mother has this story that she tells me about the best job she ever had, which still blows my mind. Best job she ever had only paid her like $40,000. But she quit. And then that's kind of when a lot of other things kind of went good. But her strength is that they hired her to come in and fire a bunch of people that she didn't know. And she was not comfortable with doing that. And that in turn led her to have some her pushing back, in turn led to some things going down. And so she felt, some type of way about that. Well, Flores was hired, and it's known that it's known now that his owner, everything he accused his owner of doing happened. And these are the things that need to be making more news, because there's only 31 people that can have this spot. They can be an NFL owner. And they lost a lot of things and it's basically the NFL admitting that everything that Brian Flores said was true. I'm not saying that Deshaun stuff should be put on the table. Nah, raise as much fuss as you want to on that. But let's talk about unfair hiring practices, unfair things that go on. Basically, Brian Flores accused him of tanking. And basically in the report by Ian Rappaport that he put out, Ross said in multiple Dolphins meetings in 2019 that their 2020 draft position should take priority over the team's win-loss record. So basically he's saying we're trying to fight for the number 1 overall spot. That's what we're worried about. And then on the $100,000 per loss, he said that they're different. That's basically not to my recollection. And if I did say something like that, it was clearly a joke. But when are you supposed to? But why would you even joke like that? Heck, that's not the excuse that we didn't give that to Sean Payton or when they did Bountygate. I mean, if you think that for a second, right, that an NFL player that's making at that time $500,000 a check, $500,000 a year, would go out and play this violent sport more violently for $1,000, for an extra $1,000. If you believe the players are that greedy, why wouldn't somebody go and deliberately tank for $100,000? If you think that somebody offering that was that, then why can't you believe in this instance? But bigger than that, Flores discussed about how he was uncomfortable going on a yacht. And black people have been uncomfortable going on boats with rich white people since the beginning, since America started. You got to give us a little credit, man. There's a history behind this stuff. You go on a boat, you have no idea where you're going to be, where you're going to end up at. But you go on a boat, and then all of a sudden out of the shadows emerges the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. And you know Tom is under contract with somebody else. And you know the rules that you can't do this. This meeting is not supposed to happen. It's called tampering. And then you get fired because of that. See, as a guy who gets kind of like when there's a little gray area, like I'm all about operating in the gray. But what I'm not going to do is do something that's clearly illegal. And then when it all goes to shit, you throw it on me. Because that's what was going to happen. Flores was going to be the fall guy. And he clearly had all intentions of going in and doing this. And, so evidence of tanking, evidence of trying to go, and again, I'm not mad at trying to go get the greatest quarterback of all time, but evidence of that, the Dolphins had impermissible communications with Tom Brady in 2019, 2020, while he was under contract with the New England Patriots. Those communications began as early as August 2019 and continued throughout the 2019 season and postseason. The numerous and detailed discussions were conducted by Mr. Beal, who in turn kept Mr. Ross and other Dolphins executives informed of his discussions with Brady. The Dolphins again have more impermissible communications with both Brady and his agent during and after the 2021 season, while he was under contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those discussions began no later than early December 2021 and focused on Mr. Brady becoming a limited partner in the Dolphins and possibly serving as a football exec. Although at times they also included the possibility of his playing for the Dolphins. January 2022, the Dolphins had impermissible communications with Don Yee, the agent of the New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton, about having Mr. Payton serve as Miami's head coach. Miami did not seek consent from New Orleans to have these discussions, which occurred before Payton announced his decision to retire and become the head coach of the Saints. Following the announcement, Miami requested permission to seek Coach Payton the first time, which New Orleans declined to grant. The investigations found tampering violation of unprecedented scope and severity. I know of no prior instance of a team violating the prohibition of tampering with both head coach and a star player to potentially to the potential detriment of multiple other clubs over a period of several years. Similarly, I know of no prior instance in which ownership was so directly involved in the violations. It's basically this man said, I don't give a fuck about what's going on or my peers and colleagues. And the fact that they only got fined one draft pick and I think like a couple $1 million. Hold on. It is really just is asinine to me. And it's cool that Bill Belichick was the Patriot, Bob Kraft and them boys. They're the first ones that said that. But again, Bob Kraft, who is revered right now because of his outside of him being on a massage table and taking 3 fingers, but also what he did for Meek Mill. He should be cherished for that, for freeing Meek. You went up against the Buccaneers ownership, and you went up against the Bucks. It's really, really, really messed up.
He has some nerve saying this though.
Oh,
he's disgusted over.
It was just I tweeted that. Wait a minute, hold up, that was for real?
Yeah.
I thought that was a joke when I put the meme up. Because it's too good to be true. Like, there's no way Bob Kraft says he's an embarrassment to the league. But I guess technically, Bob went to that massage parlor knowing that those ladies got down like that. Deshaun was trying to turn some massage therapists out.
I mean, that is the term of essentially what he was doing was trying.
I mean, the issue is consent here. But I will say, Robert, you can sit this one out. I find it interesting what the NFL is willing to do and what the NFL is not willing to do. See, if the NFL and the owners were really like that, and they were really concerned about image, right? There's no shortage of people who would love to get the Miami Dolphins. There's no shortage of people who would love to get the Washington Redskins. Oh, my bad. Command, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves now. Sorry about that. I mean, no offense, by most of my life they've been called one thing. You just switched it up on me. See, when the Clippers and their owner got into it and he did some racist shit, wasn't even like crazy. Like, he just really, and it really was his side bitch, got out of control and decided it. And to be honest with you, when I come back and I look at it, is he really wrong? Because we've seen the Magic Johnson basketball series. Magic's a whore. Magic also has the HIV. I don't want my girl sitting next to Magic either, man. Like, that shit, I don't know how monkeypox, COVID, all this other shit going on. I don't know how this shit is transmitted, bro. So I like, yeah, man, I don't want you to sit. Now, should he have used the house word? No.
Different wording.
Like, you probably could have been like, man, I don't want you sitting next to that motherfucker either. That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. If you were real about how you felt about women's rights, and if you do more to Deshaun than you do to Snyder and what they were doing in Washington, that's just bullshit. And that's setting yourself up to really get fucked when it comes to the monopoly and the antitrust laws. And if this is if I'm one of the other 31 teams, not the owners, because the Packers are owned by the city, but they have a president. If we're all operating under these rules and we're cheating to the echo of the law, but you're blatantly cheating and you still have an NFL team, then that just means I just said, fuck it, man. Get it how you live, which I'm cool with. But let's just not pretend to have rules because, without rules, we're no different than the animals. To quote my guy from John Wick, like this is what makes us who we are. Like you have a pattern of things. All right, we're gonna operate like this. You can't talk to my coach to come work for you without my permission. You can't go talk to my current player under contract about him resigning or retiring and then coming to pretend like he has a job with us to take the job just so he can avoid training camp for us to sign him week 1. It don't work like that, man. Again, but the people would rather go and bash, but we're going to focus on Deshaun, which we should, because which I'm not saying don't focus on him, but that really is fucked up. If the people in Deshaun's case were really torn up on it, like we're saying they are, easily would have went to them boys. Do you know how hard it is to not get indicted? The key is this. It's the phrase. All my lawyer friends say it. Anybody who's been in law enforcement has heard this before. We can indict a ham sandwich. Meaning you put the ham sandwich on the stand, we can talk about it, and then the jury will say, let's go do this. That means a jury literally and a judge literally sat there with only evidence going against Deshaun. There's no cross-examination. There's no nothing. It is literally the prosecution stating their case. If people heard that and said, nah, son. Nah, because I don't believe a lot of this stuff. If somebody walked into your place of business right now and whipped out their dick, I don't care who your boss is. You're going to be like, hey, man, I got to get out of here. This is a little weird, man. And listen, I've given massages before. I get massages all the time. Sometimes you got to think pure thoughts. It's not because you like the person. It's just because sometimes when they're touching you in certain areas, like you have reactions to things. But like his stuff, what they're saying, it's a little bit elevated. And that person needs to be in jail. He needs help. But I'll say this, and this will be my closing for the most part, is that you can't judge people based upon, you can't judge a 7-8 figure issue, 7 or 8 figure lifestyles on a low 5-figure budget. A lot of you you can't fathom what it's like getting a massage every other week or every week, or you can't fathom getting a different massage every week because you can't afford it. And that's not me saying anything degrading to you. It's just you've never really thought about, oh wow, what would it be like to do this? He tried, he's in Atlanta. So let's just, I'm not excusing, but Atlanta, Houston, I forgot where else he went, but like just think about there. He's in 4 different cities in the offseason. And I know when you're training, when I was doing my combat training, I would get massaged twice a week. I would get a Wednesday and a Sunday. So, and both of them were recovery massages. I had one person because I feel comfortable with one person. Once I ain't got time to be teaching new tricks to people. I need you to know what you're doing when you go in there. I also don't mind getting massaged by men. I know he's not gay. I'm not gay, so the shit don't bother me. I have deep-seated pain that I need somebody to get to. And when I find a female that can do it, I'm like, yo, bet. Let's roll with it. But sometimes they ain't strong enough. I'm a thick individual. But what happens if I need that massage on Wednesday and my massage therapist is gone? You think I'm not going to get the massage? I'm going to go try to find somebody else. What if I'm in Atlanta that week? So just think about it, 4 different locations. And then sometimes when you're trying to find the good ones that you like, you may go through a couple different ones. Again, it's not a situation of oh, this is hilarious. It's not a situation of where if it's right or wrong, it's just a situation of like, yo, what's really hindering the integrity of the game? That's fucking up the integrity of the game. That's fucking up other people's personal lives. But again, if they felt that strongly, they would have sued them. I want to give an update on a hater clock that we gave on Monday. So Bootylicious graduate from Florida State that is now a rapper, not Florida State, excuse me, from Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University, who's also a rapper, is going into, not a debate, but there's a lot of different things going on. Like you've got FAMU threatening to take away her degree, which I believe is wrong.
Whoa.
Right. So it's two things that actually, let me rephrase it. It's not wrong if we're all willing to admit that degrees are given. If a degree is given, that means it's a privilege. And privileges can be taken away. I have no problem with privileges being taken away. But if she earned it, if degrees are earned, I have a huge problem with them taking it away. Unless you're refunding her money. Unless there was true, because you let her walk. They let her actually walk into graduation. So there were no trespassing laws. There was no things on that. There are things that FAMU is now taking into consideration. Now you can see posted up right next to the snake, and I think they did this for me because they heard I was coming. FAMU, 24 hours, 7 days a week, Rattler Watch. Video surveillance in progress. All activity will be monitored and recorded by the Department of Campus Security, Safety and Security. Smile, we're watching you. Was she smiling in that? Damn, she wasn't even smiling in the ass pin. But you got the video, because this is, again, what I need people to realize is this. What happens is graduations, if they tell you not to clap, dance, do all this weird stuff, basically, we want you to fit into the mold. Because that's why I think graduations are stupid. Like, that's typically when you mess up, they take away your ability to walk. Doesn't mean you don't graduate. Because let me tell you what happens when you walk. When you walk, they give you your degree, the frame or whatever you get your degree in. It's no paper in there. It's nothing in there. Nada. They mail you your degree. Because a lot of times the grades haven't even come up and haven't even processed. So you let her wear her cap and gown, you let her participate, but you want us to believe you're just so mad and just so butthurt on all of this, right? But you let her do this. You shouldn't have let her walk if you were that upset. Period. Don't take her degree, but I am glad that now everybody knows, because this is what happens. You don't know something's bad until somebody does it, and then instead of bitching about it and crying about it and you just pass new laws. It's in the Bible. All those ecclesiastic laws, or the Deuteronomy and all those different things, like thou shalt not kiss a goat, thou shalt not kiss your cousin's goat. Those different things, like, they're mundane, but they didn't know they needed to tell people not to do these things until they did it. So now, okay, you did that. That's illegal. Now we're going to put a sign here. Now it's in the rules. Move forward. Because we don't want other people getting up there. I mean, I kind of do, but they don't want other people up there showing their ass. And fair. So, I mean, I don't really know what else to tell you, but right now, that's got to end today's show. Sorry, it's going to be short and sweet, to the point. Just a lot of hate. A lot of interesting things going on in the world. I got to go do some radio in Tallahassee for the book bag drive. Please go to jamescolemangivesback.com if you want to be able to participate in that, or the football camp. We will see you guys hopefully tomorrow.